What if Overhaulin wasn't really about the cars at all? For years, millions tuned in for the roaring engines, flawless paint jobs, and insane transformations. But behind every build was something bigger. Chip Foose wasn't just restoring vehicles. He was rewriting stories, turning heartbreak into horsepower. And the truth about how it all worked and why Foose walked away from one of the biggest names in hot rodding might just change the way you see the entire show. Because once you know what really happened behind those garage doors, you'll never watch Overhaulin the same way again. Long before millions knew his name, Chip Foose was just a kid in Santa Barbara with grease under his nails and an eye for lines no one else could see. His father, Sam Foose, ran a small custom car shop, and while other 7-year-olds were riding bikes or glued to Saturday morning cartoons, Chip was handing tools to grown men and studying every curve of a fender. This wasn't a hobby, it was an apprenticeship, even if neither of them called it that at the time. By his teenage years, Chip could draw a car in such detail it looked ready to roll off the page. That talent carried him to the prestigious Art Center College of Design, but the road wasn't smooth. Financial struggles forced him to leave before graduating, a setback that could have ended the dream. Instead, he doubled down, working, saving, and eventually returning to finish what he started. After school, he joined forces with Boyd Coddington, a legend in the hot rod world. Chip's designs weren't just good, they were showstoppers, the kind that made judges pause and crowds swarm. But beneath the chrome and trophies, tensions brewed. Creative differences and internal drama eventually pushed Chip to a decision that would define his career. Walk away from the comfort of an established realm and bet it all on his own vision. That gamble became Foose Design, and it wouldn't just change his life. It would set the stage for one of the most beloved car shows in television history. When Chip Foose walked out of Boyd Coddington's shop, it wasn't just a career move, it was a leap into the unknown. He had no safety net, no network of investors, just a relentless belief that great design could speak louder than hype. In 1998, he opened Foose Design in Huntington Beach, California, working out of a modest space that would soon become a pilgrimage site for car enthusiasts worldwide. The early days were grueling. He poured long nights into custom builds that balanced artistry with engineering, every line flowing like it belonged there from the beginning. Word spread fast in the car community. This wasn't restoration, it was reinvention. Before long, his creations were winning the industry's most coveted awards. The Riddler, the America's Most Beautiful Roadster trophy. Multiple honors in a single decade. Television eventually came calling. Producers saw something magnetic in Foose, the combination of humble craftsman and visionary artist, and pitched him an idea that sounded almost impossible. Rebuild a classic car in just a week, in complete secrecy, and surprise the unsuspecting owner on camera. The concept became Overhaulin, debuting on TLC in 2004. From the very first episode, viewers were hooked. The builds were jaw-dropping, but there was something more. An emotional punch that hit when the car's owner saw it for the first time. Behind the drama, deadlines, and roaring engines, the show carried a simple truth. These weren't just cars. They were personal histories, memories, and dreams brought back to life. And that emotional connection was about to turn Foose into a household name. When Overhaulin hit TV screens, it didn't look like any other car show. There was no slow, padded buildup, no endless debates over specs, just a high-stakes countdown, a stolen car, and a crew racing against the clock. Chip Foose became the calm center of the storm. While cameras darted around capturing welders, painters, and parts deliveries, Foose quietly sketched in his signature style, fluid lines, graceful curves, often designing the transformation in a single sitting. But this wasn't Hollywood magic. The pressure was real. Builds sometimes stretched past 40 hours without rest, the crew surviving on coffee, adrenaline, and the unspoken rule that failure wasn't an option. Each reveal wasn't just a handoff of keys, it was a moment charged with emotion. More than once, owners broke down in tears. For many, these cars weren't just vehicles, they were family heirlooms, memorials to loved ones, or dreams they thought they'd lost forever. Foose understood that. He never treated a build as just a job. Every detail, from the stance to the stitching, was chosen to reflect the owner's story. And while TV producers might have been focused on ratings, Foose's focus was on people. That human touch was the show's secret weapon, pulling in viewers who didn't know a carburetor from a crankshaft. By the end of the first season, Overhaulin wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural moment. And Chip Foose wasn't just a designer anymore. He was the face of a phenomenon that blended speed, skill, and soul in a way no one else had done before. As Overhaulin gained popularity, Chip Foose started to notice something that didn't sit right with him. Car culture, the world he dedicated his life to, was shifting. The focus was drifting away from craftsmanship and originality and edging toward popularity contests. Builds that played it safe were winning over bold, risk-taking designs. Judges were rewarding trends over timelessness. To Foose, it felt like style points were replacing soul. In interviews, he's been clear. Overhaulin was never just about the cars. The real magic was the reveal, the raw, unfiltered reactions when someone saw a forgotten piece of their past restored beyond what they imagined. The paint, the wheels, the perfect stance. Those were important, but they were tools. The goal was always to tell a story. Still, TV is TV. Producers wanted bigger shocks, tighter deadlines, and drama that could hook viewers instantly. That meant the artistry sometimes had to fight for space with entertainment. Foose and his crew found ways to make both work, hiding deep levels of craftsmanship under the high-energy edits. But it wasn't lost on him that the industry outside the show was watching, and sometimes copying only the flashy parts without the heart. This growing divide between artistry and showmanship became one of the quiet battles Foose fought behind the scenes. And while the audience kept tuning in for the transformations, very few knew about the creative tug-of-war that was playing out in the background. But even with those tensions, Foose's work on Overhaulin kept raising the bar, and the awards kept stacking up. By the time Overhaulin was a household name, Chip Foose's trophy shelf was starting to look more like a museum. He became the youngest person ever inducted into the Hot Rod Hall of Fame in 1997, an honor most builders wait decades to achieve. Then came the Riddler Awards, the highest prize in custom car building. He didn't just win once, he took it home in 2002, 2003, 2000, and again in 2015. In 2019, the industry named him Builder of the Decade, cementing his place in automotive history. But Foose's influence wasn't limited to trophies. His designs began shaping trends in the hot rod and custom car world, clean, timeless lines replacing the overdone, overly flashy builds that had dominated certain corners of the scene. Builders started paying attention to proportion, stance, and flow, things Foose had been quietly perfecting since his sketchbook days. Even more telling was his role as a mentor. Dozens of younger designers and builders credit him with not just teaching them technique, but showing them the importance of listening to the story behind a car. To Foose, a build wasn't complete unless it captured the owner's history and vision. His reach extended beyond the garage too. He became a sought-after speaker at automotive events, design schools, and charity functions, often auctioning off original sketches to raise funds. Yet, despite the accolades and recognition, Foose's driving force never changed. It wasn't about building the most expensive car in the room. It was about building the one that meant the most to someone. For all the success, Chip Foose has a quiet concern about where the industry is heading. He's seen the shift firsthand. Car shows where the loudest paint job or trendiest wheel choice takes the prize, while truly innovative builds go overlooked. In his eyes, custom car culture was built on pushing limits, blending art with engineering, and creating something no one had ever seen before. Now, too often, it's about chasing votes, likes, and quick social media buzz. Foose has warned that when creativity takes a back seat to popularity, the heart of hot rodding is at risk. The cars start looking the same. The stories behind them fade. The craft becomes just another competition for their attention, rather than a celebration of skill, heritage, and imagination. It's not all doom and gloom. There are still builders out there carrying the torch, refusing to cut corners or follow trends. And Foose is still leading by example, showing that timeless design and meticulous craftsmanship can coexist with a modern audience. But he knows the temptation to play it safe is strong, especially for younger builders trying to get noticed in a crowded field. That's why he continues to speak out, reminding people that the most memorable cars aren't the ones that win the most trophies. They're the ones that connect deeply with the person who owns them. In Foose's world, a build isn't truly successful unless it makes someone's heart race before the engine even starts. Chip Foose's legacy isn't measured in chrome, horsepower, or even awards. It's in the moments when someone sees their dream restored and can't find the words. Overhaulin proved that great design isn't just about metal and paint. It's about emotion, history, and the people who carry those stories. As car culture evolves, Foose's message stays the same. Build with heart, not just for hype. If you want more untold stories about the legends behind the machines, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started.